pay their hues, man.
All right, cool, perfect. You can chew me out later, bro, but I got
All right,
you.
go
Cool,
ahead.
perfect. Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy Jay Smiley, and welcome back to the EYMF podcast, powered by the EYMF Network. As we kick back off season 3, I want to say shout out to the best podcast team in the podcast world. Me and my right hand man, we're gonna hold it down as always. But world, to kick off season 3, we want to come at y'all from a different angle. We want to come at y'all with a little bit more informative aspect. So why not start with the most important thing that we have, which is our body? Y'all, but with that being said, I wanted to introduce the two most amazing guests that we've had thus far, because they are the most informative guests that we've had thus far. We have two chiropractors coming to y'all live from Joliet, y'all. This one hits home for me, y'all, as I've seen them grow up, I guess you can say, in a sense. But with that being said, y'all, I want to introduce shouldn't say Miss, Doctor. This is the first for me, Dr. Kaylee Foster and Dr. Siobhan Banks. Thank you for joining us. I definitely appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
No problem at
Yeah.
all. No problem. No problem. No problem. But before we get started, I would love for both of you all to just inform the world on exactly who you are and what you do before we get into any questions. I guess I would say ladies first, but since we got two ladies, um, Dr. Foster, would you mind going first? Just letting the world know who you are.
Of course. So I am Dr. Kaylee Foster. Go by Dr. Kales at the moment. So I am a pediatric specific chiropractor, so pediatric and prenatal. So I'm currently working in like the Shorewood area, so not too far from Joliet. And yeah, born and raised in Joliet. Well, that's about it.
Nice, nice. And Dr. Banks.
I'm Dr. Siobhan Banks. I like being called Dr. Banks. I'm from Joliet, Illinois as well. I work in Aurora, Illinois, and I'm a general family practitioner when it comes to chiropractic, but I'm also a person at the end of the day. So I just wanted to be kind of like transparent with that. Sometimes when you're a chiropractor, especially with a new status, you often get a lot of questions about your career first and then your personal stuff second. But I like to lead off with saying I'm Siobhan and then I'm Dr. Banks. So that's
I love
basically
that.
what I want to give for that. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And it's funny that you said that, Siobhan, because um, the one thing that we love to do before we even dive really into what made you, who you are, is what made you who you are, to be honest with you. So, you have the before and after, right? So we love to go to the before first. So with that being said, I'm gonna kick it right off, right back to you. Just give us a little bit of insight on who you are as an individual, a little bit of your background, your upbringing, your family structure, to become a chiropractor doctor. To be honest with you, that is not something that is easy. It's not easy at all. I'm pretty sure you took more than one A&P class throughout your time in school, and anatomy and physiology is not easy, no whatsoever. So I didn't even take it, but just to see someone take it, I'm like, no, like there's a name for this right here or this right here, like that's crazy. So just give us a little bit of your background and who you are.
So again, I'm from Joliet, Illinois. I went to Joliet Central, and then I went to JJC, which is Joliet Junior College. I really didn't know what college had, and where did you go?
Same.
Oh, y'all some haters. I am from Joliet. Anyway, went to JJC, and before going to JJC, I had no idea what I wanted to do. You just hear from your family members, hey, go to college, stuff like that. So I did go the college route. I went to JJC, then I went to Central State University. That's the HBCU in Wilberforce, Ohio. A lot of people don't know about it because it's in the Midwest, but we played a lot of schools like Pike Atlanta and Claflin and things like that. So throughout my college career, I played basketball, but then I also really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Chiropractic just came to me in a sense. A representative came to talk about chiropractic. I wanted to be a physical therapist because of sports, of course. And then when they told me about chiropractic, I was like, oh, can I do both? They was like, no, we just advise you do one. I'm like, oh, okay. And now going through that program, I see why.
Good idea.
Yeah, that was, I don't even know, like to say the least, it was very time consuming, but it's only because of how much focus you're putting on your studies. I can say that's the biggest thing that you have to be a good student to get through that kind of like strenuous program. It's very, it's a lot of work within a little amount of time. So that's one thing that I would say about my journey and who I am and how that transferred me into kind of like who I am now.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Thank you for the insight.
Yeah.
Miss Kaylee, would you mind giving us a little
Um,
insight to who you are?
of course. So my background's kind of the same as Siobhan's actually. So obviously from Joliet, went to Joliet West though. West is best, obviously. um, and then I went to Moraine Valley Community College, which is in Palos Hill area. Um, and we also played JJC, so I'm there with you on the JJC thing.
Did
Um,
we win? Dub?
anyways,
Oh,
so yes, I played basketball there, and then I ended up going to Lincoln University, which was also an HBCU in Missouri. So I was like 20 minutes from Columbia. Played basketball there. That was a blast to say the least.
Okay.
Um, but definitely hard, time consuming for sure. It was like mandatory for studies to be done on bus rides. You know, we had an hour when we got to the hotel. We had to do this, had to do that. So definitely like the accountability is kind of the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
And then chiropractic came to me because I have a personal story. So I went blind actually a couple years before, well, after college, I guess. And it's called optic neuritis. So like the nerve behind your eye gets swollen. And I was like legally blind at the time. And my chiropractor was coming to visit me in the hospital and adjusting me. And I'm not saying he brought my eyesight back, but I definitely got better and I definitely was like healing properly. So that's kind of my like personal story on why I got here. And it's definitely just a different way to heal. Physical therapy was also my first insight, but the thought of like never actually getting better. It was more about like just like saving yourself in the moment, being able to play for that game or being able to play for that day. I wanted to find like a way to fix somebody, to heal somebody overall for the rest of their life. So yeah,
I love that. I love that.
thanks.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. Those are two definitely motivational stories. Um, I feel like you all like have like the same path and journey. You know, like two different angles, of course, but like it's kind of like a mirror reflection. Like Central, West, you
Mm-hmm.
know, junior college, university, HBCU, played basketball,
Yep.
have your own personal stories. Like I love that. I love that for sure. So that's really good, and that's black excellence for sure. So in the cut with my twin and be vibe. And with that being said, I'm gonna throw the alley oop to my right hand man, CP man. Go ahead, bro. If you got any questions for the ladies, man.
I for all the bad back people out there, can you explain to them how important their posture is, like the way they sit, pretty much,
Or stand, or walk, or run.
or stand, walk, run? Because there's a lot of
Bunny
bad back
legs.
motherfuckers out here.
Yeah.
A lot of them. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
yes.
and I'm
That's
one
a
of them
very
because I
loaded
do not like
question.
to sit back in the chair. I'm
Yeah.
always leaned forward.
As you both fix your posture.
Right, I was trying to make sure, like,
I'm the
Right.
my
same. I mean,
shoulders look
Showing
okay.
this. Showing this
Yeah,
off.
that is a loaded question though. When we talk about posture, the main thing we talk about is the muscles that stabilize kind of like your posture. Sometimes when we go through things such as work or what you two gentlemen are doing, you get kind of caught up in the moment and then your body kind of feels kind of like at a relaxed point, but it starts to lean forward and it starts to round your shoulders Or if you're kind of sitting, if you're a truck driver sitting for a long period of time, you start to lean forward and lean your head forward. So those are the two common postures that we usually see within the office. The reason why people may quote unquote have bad backs is because it's just a constant thing. So with adjustments, we do like routine care when it comes to getting kind of like that treatment. It takes some time for that posture to be a little bit more extenuated, a little bit more like upright. That's the thing that we're looking for. But when it comes to having a bad back, it could be due to anything, and usually an exam is always needed before I can say kind of like what exactly it is for legal purposes, but also making sure their lifestyle, knowing what's going on, something might be a little different for you than it would be for the next person. So, but posture is always important, and adjustments always help with that. I always advocate for that, and it's kind of like the bare minimum of the reason why you should be adjusted.
I think something that's important with that too is like, unfortunately, being a chiropractor, we sometimes are the last resort. So a lot of people seek a lot of other alternative routes, and they're like, well, I've tried this and I've tried A, B, C, D, and now I need your help. And like not unfortunately, but our simple like answer is, well, how do you stand daily? Like, what do you do daily? How, like, are you on your phone all day? Do you look down? Are you at a computer? And it just goes to show, like, no matter how many things you try, the way you move is like beyond important.
Yes.
So,
Yes, because like the fellow crack addicts like myself, and I mean that from an A&P standpoint, because I love watching YouTube videos of people getting adjustments, and I love cracking
they're
my
mic'd
own
up.
joints. Yes, I love it. Oh my gosh, I promise you, there's nothing better than a nice.
I bet you do.
I love it. That's like one of like my like odd satisfactions is watching people
I
get
feel you. I like watching people clean
adjustments.
the rugs.
See, exactly. See, that's a
All night,
that's an odd
all night.
satisfaction.
Yeah,
You know,
I be watching
I,
this shit. I watch
I
it. I
have
watch it.
I have some like my favorite chiropractors. Like there's one down in Houston, and man, I can't remember his name, but he is cold. And when I see him, I'll be
Here this
like, "Yep,
nigga go talking about
yep."
Texas.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we can touch base for that. You said you were in Texas for 3 years.
I was.
Walk us through that experience. Like, what was that like? Were you in the chiropractic field there? How was the transition back home? What did that look like?
So athletic, like I said, physical therapy, athletic training was kind of like the main career path at first. So I was actually going down there to Baylor University to go to their
Okay.
athletic training program. Um, and my brother took me to Parker University is where I graduated from.
Okay.
Because it was always his goal to be a chiropractor. So he showed me this campus, and they had like a Parker Power Weekend is what they called it for all the new students. And I actually signed up that day I was on campus. So it really wasn't like, I wasn't all in when I moved to Texas. I knew I was going to go to college. I knew I was going to do something. But when I got there, I signed up. They like approved all my classes from undergrad on the spot. And they were like, you're in. And I was like, all right. I think it was like a Saturday. And we started class that Monday. So I actually signed up for school like 2 days before classes started. So I was kind of like in at that point. I really had no choice to opt out. Um, but my brother actually lived down there, so I had a little family down there as well, which made it a lot easier transition for me. The 15-hour drive was not the best though. Um, so good luck to you in the future on that,
Right.
because that's a long ways from home.
Hmm.
But I loved it. I lived downtown Dallas, and it was perfect. I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you feel coming back home?
Um, because I had a job set up, I was fine. I didn't really have a problem, but now I'm in that part where I'm like, I really want to go back to Texas. I want to move
Yeah.
back to Dallas.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Dr. Banks. I'm going based off the names I'm seeing, so this is kind of like I'm just going back and
I mean,
forth.
that's fine. You call me Dr. Banks. We in
And,
agreement.
I'm just
So,
yeah, I see
or
it. Yeah, I see it
yeah,
for
if
sure.
I'm at work, it's Dr. Banks for sure. Like, do not
Oh,
call me phone because I'm not gonna answer.
oh
But
no, as you shouldn't.
yeah,
You know what? You worked hard for that doctor. Like
too
that.
hard.
That's like you know what? Like
You better
I
put some
feel like it's
respect on
my
that.
duty. Like I feel like it's my duty to call out Dr. Foster and Dr. Banks because I worked hard for that. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Right.
Like some
We
titles,
struggle.
Mr. and Mrs. You know, Mr. and Miss is given. You know, Mrs. is earned. You know, or I guess you could say
Mm-hmm.
built. But the doctor, that's
Mm-hmm.
like a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like So to your point, I wouldn't answer nothing else either. Shoot, call me doctor everywhere I'm at. What's Doctor Smiley? Thank you, sir. Come back to Kroger's again. You know what I mean? Like, no, like my name is Doctor Everything everywhere. So, but no, I definitely want to kind of dive into what are some of your future plans? What are some things that you see yourself doing here in the near future? You know, we kind of dived in on Kaylee's transition from Dallas to Joliet, but what do you see yourself doing here in the near future with chiropractic, I should say?
Just, yeah, just slowly being honest. I'm trying to figure out who I am as a provider first. It's a lot of classes of chiropractors out there. Definitely the ones that you watch on YouTube versus the ones who work with babies like Dr. Foster wants to do. And I'm just a general person trying to find my way and route throughout kind of like patient care. But then also on top of that, I'm trying to figure out where I align myself with all of that. So when I go home, I'm like, I did what I had to do today, you know? So I'm not sure what my future holds, but I know I'm excited for it. I know that I'm preparing for something, and that's to be successful in what do you say? I don't know yet, but I know I'm getting somewhere because this is the first start by even, putting my foot out there and just explaining a little bit about chiropractic the best way I can, even though this is me and Dr. Foster's first time kind of being on something like this. It's just something of you just having faith, like you talked about before. The reason why you have this podcast is one of those things. So just being faithful and just, taking one step at a time because that's all you can do at the end of the day.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
100%. You
That
hit
was
it
the
right on
most
the head.
honest answer I ever heard.
Man, for
Oh,
real.
yeah.
For real.
I said to be honest.
You hit it right.
She said, "Shit, I know I'm about to do something. I don't know what it is, but
Hey,
whatever it is, come on."
hey, I promise you, that's like you said, CP. That is definitely the most honest answer you could possibly
That's
give.
the most honest answer.
That's stepping out on faith. Like that's literally
Yeah.
what stepping. That's what stepping out on faith is you don't know what that next step is or what's in front of you. But as we dive into Texas and things of that nature, I know we've talked, and you said you have some ambitions and aspirations of doing some things as well. But what does your future look like? I don't want you to give the world too much, of course, but what does your future look like with chiropractic?
Um, I really don't know either. I'm happy where I'm at the moment. Um, I'm gaining that like client base. So I think I'm just satisfied with that, crafting my skills that I have at the moment. And maybe one day starting maybe my own thing and yeah, going from there, I guess.
I like that. I like that.
I
I
can
like that
dig
for
it.
sure.
That's
I like
nice.
that for sure. But really quick, because both you all were basketball players in college and prior to that,
Hmm.
what was it like balancing that workload with sports and studies? Because I can't really do two things at once. So let alone have two priorities in your life. How did y'all balance that? Like,
Well, obviously, it looked like they said fuck sports.
man, you
No,
picked
we
one.
didn't.
You picked
No.
Eligibility
you
is a
you
big
picked
part.
one.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
eligibility is a big part. When I was at JJC, it was pretty hard because it wasn't any scholarships. They basically just paid for kind of like your college tuition there. And since I was in state or within the area, it was relatively cheap. So shout out to Coach Shine, by the way. But at
Seriously.
JJC, it was difficult because you didn't really have to play basketball. You just was there. So I enjoyed it, and it was a couple of times where I thought about quitting simply because I needed to help out kind of like my mom, or I needed to have more money for other things, and I felt as though basketball was kind of in the way of that. But that changed soon as I got kind of like the full ride to Central State University. So they paid for everything, and one, that was a blessing. But then two, on top of that, the culture around basketball changed. It became like a job instead of like a leisure recreational type of thing. And that's where I took it serious, and that's where some of that time management kind of came in. But when you're on a basketball team, you got a lot of clout, you got a lot of popularity, and most of all, you ain't really got no homework because you're always on the road. So it's not as bad. Again, it might be a little different depending on your major and things of that nature. Like if you're a science major, it might be a little different. I was psychology, so it was a little bit more easier for me because when I was like, oh, I know how the mind work, I know the behaviors and stuff like that. But if you're doing like organic chemistry on the road, good luck to you. So It was well, it's difficult depending on what you have. That's for sure.
That makes sense. Like
Yeah.
any
Were you a
chemistry on
bucket?
the
You was a
road.
bucket.
Sometimes
Walking bucket. She
You
was
was
a
a
walking
bucket.
bucket. I'll give it to you.
You was a walking bucket. All right. Okay.
I'm gonna say sometimes. Don't look up no highlight films because
Oh,
Don't
you
search my
might.
name for
what?
anything.
What? With that being said, oh
Don't
gosh,
make me pull them up on here while we
No,
while we
look,
on
No,
here.
look,
no, no. I will
look.
exit the group chat.
Hold on.
Exit
Hold
stage
on.
left.
Hold
Look,
on. Let me go on
no,
YouTube.
no, but while CP goes over on YouTube, looks on YouTube. Kaylee, what was it like? What was it like for you? Like balancing books and sports. Did you have some nights where you didn't sleep?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Almost every night, really. And I think just being like at that age too, I mean, I know I wanted to experience like the college life too. So like not only was I balancing like basketball studies, but like also like Siobhan said earlier, being a human, being a child, being a kid, trying to take in that experience. But I agree. I think being an athlete on campus, you're definitely looked out for. Especially knowing, everyone knows your schedule. They know when you're on the road. They know all these things. So, um, at least obviously our two schools were definitely lenient on that, but it wasn't easy either. I mean, there was definitely work to be done. You had practice at 5 a.m. and then you had class all day and then you had a second practice at 6 p.m. And so, I mean, it was rough, but I think just being able to have that opportunity kind of kept me going. Like, not everyone got to be here. Um, so just kind of reminding myself of that daily is what got me through all that.
That's discipline
Yeah,
I
it's
got a
rough though.
question.
and determination for sure.
So, what? Why you looking like that? Like my question about to be off the
Me?
wall or something, Doctor Banks.
Oh.
No. What are you guys' favorite part of cracking people necks?
Funny ass. It's simple terms, right? When it comes to popping joints and releasing gas from joints, what's the favorite part about it?
Oh,
I like
I
to
would
say
say,
adjusting.
go ahead.
Yeah. Let's say adjusting.
Right.
We don't crack anybody.
I
Um, the best thing about adjusting someone's neck would be one, easing them into kind of like the adjustment. I have a lot of people personally that do not like that adjustment. And sometimes as you build kind of like that trust with them, it's like that first adjustment. It's like, oh, I never knew it could do that. Or you would have some people who is like, that was really loud. And they like jump up and things like that. But then it's always after, it's like, oh, I feel so much better. And then you see them doing this and this and this
Like, oh, I
and
can
then,
move now.
right.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's probably the best part is just like that. I mean, one, you obviously know you're healing them. So you're like, cool. And just their face afterwards. They're like, oh, wow, I can turn my head to the left, to the right. Like, or they come back with a story and they're like, oh, I was able to do this all weekend long. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you were.
It's one of those things I feel like it really isn't talked about enough. Like growing up, even like playing sports, I remember, I want to say like my junior year of high school, I met a janitor at West. His name was Mike. And shout out to Mike. But he used to talk to all the basketball players and all the wrestlers. And he would talk about the importance of going to a chiropractor. And we didn't pay him no mind. Like, he was like, okay, like I'm
Yeah,
young,
what's
dude.
that?
Like, I'm a rubber band right now. Like, I can do what I
Right.
want to do. But then he actually started like giving us adjustments and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm doing all right. But at that point in time, I would like feel the difference. Like, okay, like my back isn't as tight. Like, yeah, I'm young, but like I feel the difference. And he would like grab my feet and like no, this leg is longer than the other one. Come here. And I'd be like, all right, cool, perfect. So, no, I definitely learned the importance of it at a young age, and I still didn't take it serious, even even learning that stuff. So, people that were never introduced to it, they really don't understand the importance of it. And like you all were talking about posture and just everything in our daily routine, like even holding our phones. Like I remember I went to go and get an adjustment, and my doctor was like, "Yeah, you play video games, don't you? Like, how can you tell I play video games because like how my hands look, but like just like the simplest things. And it was but yeah, like just little things like the importance of just understanding about sleeping in a bed versus sleeping on a couch every night, little things like that, the proper shoes to wear. It's so many different things that go into it. Um, so you all definitely informed us on so many different things just, within this 30 minutes.
I need to go see a chiropractor.
I do too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You probably do.
I definitely do.
You might
Yeah.
feel great too.
ASAP.
That's another thing. Like, even if you
ASAP.
feel great, like, that doesn't mean that your body isn't like compensating somewhere, you know? Like, you
Mhm.
might not have this like ridiculous pain or this ridiculous injury, but like, that doesn't mean that your body isn't, doing something different, moving differently, moving improperly. So,
Right. I agree.
I need
Yeah,
to go get adjusted.
Yeah.
yeah,
Proper
you do.
term, correct? Adjusted.
yeah, there you
All
go.
right,
Absolutely
cool.
There you go.
Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
beautiful. You
Informative.
learn fast, huh?
Yeah,
Informative.
I'm a very learn fast, a fast learner.
A very, very,
I'm a
very
very fast
informative.
learner.
Real quick though. Do you all get adjustments? And if
Oh
so, how
yeah,
often?
Whoa.
yeah. I get adjusted every week.
Really?
Yeah, I go to I work at the Joint Chiropractic in Aurora.
Yeah.
There's a Joint Chiropractic in Shorewood. I get adjusted by Dr. Wines, and
Okay.
I go there pretty often. I think it's very important. While I'm on people's bodies, kind of adjusting them, I need to get adjusted too, because all that energy come back into me. So
Right.
definitely
Right.
need to keep myself in shape for that.
For sure. Dr.
Yeah,
Dr.
Foster,
same
do
Foster
you get
thing.
said,
adjusted?
"No,
Oh, I do every week.
Yeah.
At,
Okay.
at least once a week. I mean, unless I'm feeling otherwise, it's always available. So why not take that opportunity, I guess?
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. All right. Now,
how
what
much it costs to get
advice?
adjusted?"
That's a
Depends.
valid. Hey, that's a valid question. I guess so.
It is. It is a valid
It does depend.
question. You reminded me of one of my family members when you said that. That's why I laughed. However, when you first get adjusted, you need an exam before that starts. The exam prices vary. It just depends on the place that you're at. If Dr. Foster wants to talk about where her office is and kind of like the exam prices and stuff like that, that'll be perfect to start off with. For mine, I work at the Joint Chiropractic, so it's a little bit more entryway. So it's $29 for an exam, consultation, and adjustment. It might be different at like insurance based or other cash based practices. You'll learn a little bit more about that if you go to different locations in the joint. But somebody can get you adjusted, but you just definitely need an exam first.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Dr. Foster, are y'all
yeah,
beating that $30? Y'all beating that $30 exam?
we are not. We are not being that
Well,
$30. I can't say that we
Dr.
are.
Banks, I come to see you.
You gotta drive to Aurora. So, I mean,
Oh, that's fine. I drive for a living, so that's
okay.
cool.
Fine. Ours is typically like 69 unless your insurance says otherwise. We do, I don't, do you guys do x-rays at your location on
Well, I
No,
do
sir.
got
Thursday?
insurance
Yeah.
though.
So yeah, we do x-rays too with the exam. And I know insurances are actually like getting a lot more like open to the idea of chiropractic. We have a lot more people who are like starting to get covered at like 80, 90, 100% even. So that's
Yeah.
super exciting to see in that. I mean, in that side of it, because that's why a lot of people don't go too. They're like, I don't have $200 to go to the
That shit
chiropractor,
high
which
as
it's
hell.
not $200, but if your insurance covers it, then take advantage.
Yeah. For
All
sure.
right, cool.
I like that.
I, but y'all still not beating that $30. I'm driving to
No, we
Aurora.
ain't getting
Well,
that
it's
dirty. I ain't
crazy.
even gonna lie.
You see, you gonna
It
have
is,
more.
yeah, it is a bit different when it comes to different offices, but it's all about the person that you are and the patient that you kind of are treated as when you go in that office. So it just really depends on your preference and then also the preference of how you like to be treated. But you don't know that yet because you haven't been treated yet. But the price point is a good way to get you in, which is why they know that, which is why it's in the market.
Nah, you know
Dang.
what? I think I'm gonna have to go to Dr. Foster.
I did not say anything crazy. I don't know
That
anything.
that
Guys.
that price they get you in the door, you get your exam, $3,000 to get adjusted.
Oh no, no,
All
absolutely
right,
not.
cool. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm going to holler at Dr. Foster. I'm
Yeah,
paying that
well,
$70.
There you go. Your health matters. Good job.
Right, as long as we getting adjusted, I
It's
don't mind.
fine.
Let me find out. Let me find out. West or Central help you make this decision. Look, because you done went back and forth. Let me find out.
Right.
Just a
It's not
little
about
bit.
the price.
Just a
No, it's
little
not about
bit,
the
bro.
price.
Just a little bit.
It's
Just
about
a
the high
little bit.
school.
It is. It is. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what's funny though? We well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know when we were in high school, we go Stillman. So for me, it's kind of
Man,
like
bro,
mixed
I'm a
emotions.
tiger.
Like
I don't know what you're
I'm a
talking
tiger. I'm not a yeah.
Yeah,
I was a
I'm not
tiger for
Stillman, bro.
gym. I was a tiger for gym. Like, come on now. Like, I really, that was it. I was a tiger during gym when I had my gym uniform on.
That's so weird.
Other than that, it was Go Stillman for everything else. Like, we didn't even recognize the Tigers when we were in high school. So, like, for me, like, now it's like, yeah, go Tigers. But the high school was Go Stillman.
You're Stillman.
Yeah,
Chill
so
out.
it's kind of like, you know, I was in a relationship with two girls. Like, which one do I pick? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like the kind of like the aspect of it. Now it's like, mic check 1 2 1 2.
Okay.
But yeah, no. But no. With that being said, thank y'all, ladies. We definitely appreciate y'all. CP, do you have any last minute questions for the ladies?
Nah, I'm going to Shorewood because Dr. Banks, she said they get you in the door with the price. They get you in and slam you.
But
Nah,
if you
I'm
stick
good.
to the dance, you're gonna be all right. So that's okay.
But
There you go.
that is what you
And she went
got
to
from what
Central,
I
so
said.
Well, market.
That's
that
really
is
what it is.
that's exactly what I got from what you said. I picked that up. She said they know that price will get you in the door. Then what? They gonna slam your ass. But
No.
get
Hey,
adjusted. You need neck, back, legs, hip, everything. So
Or talk this time.
At least.
but nonetheless, you're gonna get top of the line service either direction.
top of the
Absolutely.
line. Top of
There
the
you
line.
go. Absolutely.
That's cool. That's
From two
cool.
of the best chiropractors known. So, but now with that being said, ladies, thank you. We definitely appreciate you all for joining us. We definitely informed the world a lot, or you all informed the world a lot. Sorry, we just did a lot of asking other questions. But with that being said, world, your body is probably the most precious thing that you have.
Stitch y'all asses straight up.
Besides your mind, you know, as we are, you know, fixing our posture. But now, all seriousness, oh world, make sure y'all take those seconds and moments to think about your health in all aspects. It's not just mental, it's not just internal, but it's also physical too. Your posture, your body, everything, all of that plays a role. That song, your elbows connected to your arm bone, all that stuff as a kid, like that's real life. Like for real, like it starts from one direction and it either goes up, down, or it just works both sides. So take care of yourself. Make sure you take those preventative care maintenance moments to go to the doctor and get adjusted, and make sure that you are practicing great posture because it goes a long way. And you do not want to be sitting in a chair like me, slouched over, because in about 10 years, I'll be stuck like that. But with that being said, shout out to the best podcast, man. Podcast with CP. I appreciate you so much. Ladies,